Thank you so much everyone for coming. My name is Anggi. I'll be your MC today. Thank you all for coming to the GrabAI Southeast Asia Roadshow. So basically I'd like to give a big thank you, good evening to Ibu Neneng for coming today. Ibu Neneng is our Managing Director for Grab. Thank you, Ibu Neneng. Nikhil, also Head of Analytics for Grab. Thank you for coming all the way to Jakarta. Also along with Jeffrey, Data Scientist Lead of Grab. Thank you so much. Patrick, Distinguished AI Scientist also. And at the same time, also we're happy and humbled to have Pak Gunawan Susanto, Country Manager for Indonesia, Amazon Web Services. Thank you so much, Pak. Derek Shang, CEO of Padangko, thank you so much for being here as well. Our partners in terms of having this event today. And also all and every distinguished guest that we have here, friends, welcome to the very first inauguration of Grab Artificial Intelligence for Southeast Asia competition. Big hand for this event, everyone. Woo! So, basically what we know is, in terms of AI or artificial intelligence, it is used widely a lot in our everyday needs or our everyday apps. So it's been going on for many years in terms of what we do for AI. Okay, it's not just about robots, but it's also about machine learning, it's also about applications, and it's also about consumer behavior. So with this competition that we have in Grab, is we'd like to see and fish out and bring opportunities for young talents to be able to contribute back to their society for AI. Not just in Indonesia, of course, definitely in Indonesia, but also throughout all Southeast Asia, okay? So, without further ado, before we start, I'd like to thank our strategic partners, Microsoft Azure and Amazon Web Services. And first up, we'd like to invite Mbak Neneng to the speaker, to the ground, to say a few words. Big hand for Mbak Neneng, Managing Director of Grab.
Thank you, Anggi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore dan salam sejahtera buat kita semua. First of all, Gunawan, thanks for coming. Dan buat teman-teman baik media maupun rekan-rekan yang mau ikut challenge, thank you for coming. Sebelum mulai, saya mau sedikit talk about Grab Indonesia. So, next. Okay, why Grab exists? I don't know whether all of you know why Grab exists. First of all, we would like make transport in Southeast Asia safer. And then the second thing is to solve supply and demand mismatch, because one of our co-founder, as you know, is a lady, a woman called Milling, and for her, before she actually part of Grab, she was working for McKinsey, and you know McKinsey worked very late, and she has to came home late, and because of that, her mother was so worried about her. So she was thinking how to make sure that the transport is safe. So that's the first reason why Grab exists. And the last one that is very noble is we would like to improve the livelihoods of people in Southeast Asia, including Indonesia. So that is the first why Grab exists. Next. Okay. Grab is #1 consumer platform in Southeast Asia. We are in 8 countries and 336 cities. More than 144 million mobile downloads, and #1 transportation platform, and #1 fintech platform in Southeast Asia. Nggak tahu, teman-teman tahu nggak hal ini? Tahu ya? Ada yang nggak tahu juga ya? Oke. Now, this is about Southeast Asia. What about Indonesia? Next. Okay. in Indonesia, actually, Grab is in 222 cities. If you see, the growth is substantial. In January 2017, we are only in 12 cities, but now, November 2018 is 222 cities. And I don't know whether you know or not, that actually for 4 wheels, we are 70% market share. Nggak tahu Pak?
No.
Jadi sekarang tahu ya, who is the winner in Indonesia. We are, for Grab bike, we are 60% market share. So who is the winner in Indonesia now? Grab. Okay. Thank you. So at least you guys knows this is the reality. Okay. Next. And this is my favorite slide because this comes from Tenggara research. Okay. Why I like this slide? Because this actually relate to why Grab exists. So, 38% of our Grab bike driver used to be jobless. 33% of Grab car driver used to be jobless as well. And 31% of our agent used to be jobless. So imagine, what Grab has done for Indonesia, which is we give people job, income, and improve their living. So, and the other thing is also, because of that, right, the income that they get, whether it's Grab car, Grab bike, even a merchant, is improving substantial because they are part of Grab. And the contribution to Indonesia economy in 2018 is 49 trillion rupiah. That is something. And I really always want to share this with people because not many people knows about this fact. Because this is a fact. And it is actually done by Tenggara, which is Tenggara Research, is comprised of CSIS, Jakarta Post, and Prasetya Mulia. Okay? So this is what Grab has done in Indonesia. Okay, next. Now, Grab through the years, we start, as you know, we start as a ride-hailing company. But now, we are actually a super app company. So we will never say that we are a ride-hailing company anymore. We are a super app company. Okay? So we have transport, we have food, we have delivery, subscription, and all those. So do you know this? Do you use Grab? Actually, I need to check each and every one of you whether you are a Grab customer or not. I'm just kidding. Okay, next. So, as you know that we are here to solve Southeast Asia's biggest challenges, or also to be specific, because we are in Indonesia challenges. How are we going to do it? We use AI for good, right? Because we believe AI can unlock new ways to change the life of millions of Southeast Asia, and to be specific, in Indonesia, for the better. I give you an example. Do you know that Do you know about Grab Now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And Grab Now is only in Indonesia. We are hyper local. You know why? Because the reality is, if you are in the mall, you see a group of Grab bike driver there, right? And if you are a customer, if you would like to order, you don't know which one, whether it's from this group or from somewhere else. So then, you know, with AI, we are thinking, what is the right thing to do? Because for us, we are stakeholder focused. We are not saying we are only customer focused, because it's stakeholder, which is our customer, our driver, our merchant. We all think about that. Not only the customer, but also the driver and merchant. So because of that, then we think, what do we need to do? So that's why with Grab Now, when you are in the mall, you want to order a Grab bike, you can just go to the driver and he said, Grab Now bike. Then that's it. You can just jump into the bike and you go. So that is the example of what we have done. There are many things that Patrick is gonna explain to you in details about the use case. But this is one example that I'm very proud, and I always tell people, because it's also good for the government. Because government hates to see so many driver and all those stuff, right? So it's the stakeholder focus. So join us on our mission to build tech for good for Southeast Asia and for Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mbak Neneng, for your opening statement. Thank you so much. So moving forward is we understand that Grab itself, as a super app, you know, it requires a lot of data in terms of how to commence its AI side of things towards providing best services towards our customers, be it in Indonesia or Southeast Asia. To do that, indulge in so much data, so much calculations, and so much resources from all over Southeast Asia, it requires many different types of talents, okay, especially on the analytics and on the AI and analysts. So to give us a little bit of insight about the AI side of things, I'd like to also invite Patrick Nguyen, a distinguished AI scientist, to talk a little bit more about how AI has been supporting Grab. Big hand for Patrick, please, everyone.
All right. Thank you. So, I'm here to explain to you how AI fits in Grab, and essentially the short answer is AI sits at the core of the technology that we have, and everything that you see, every service that you see, so there's an AI component to it, and the technology sort of pervades in every interaction that you have, every time you click, whatever you see in the app, almost everywhere has an AI component. Okay, so rather than giving you the list of everything that you do, we're going to walk through a few selected examples to illustrate what I mean by that. And like all AI journeys, we'll start this with the data. And here we have a map of Singapore, and you see our drivers delivering products, delivering food, delivering riders. Basically, if you think about Grab, our platform helps connect people, brings people together in the physical world to accomplish something meaningful to them. Okay? And so as they do that, they interact with our platform. And we're talking, they interact with our platform, we're talking, thousands of times a second. Each and every of these interactions generates gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes of data that and all of these interactions inform us and guide us to help us serve our customers better. So it's a virtuous cycle. People are interacting with our platform, and we utilize the data to help them to serve them better. So how do we do that? Well, we use the tools of the trade, and we think of them generally in 4 pillars. And so we have machine learning, that's computer vision, speech recognition, natural language processing, recommendation and ranking, that's the standard classical machine learning. Then markets, it's essentially to do with money. Optimization, it's matching riders to drivers, and routing people through traffic. And simulation is a way for us to run these experiments without interfering with what happens in the real world. And so we can test our algorithms. And so we're going to go through 4 examples. The first example is human interaction. Second example is food. Third example is trust and safety. And the 4th example is going to be traffic. All right, so like I said, the first point was that Grab brings people together in the physical world to accomplish something that they want. And because it has that component of people interacting with the physical world, human interactions technologies such as natural language processing, computer vision, and speech are useful there. And one simple example is, a driver wants to talk to a rider in a different language, with machine translation to facilitate that interaction. And so to the second point that I was making, which is all of these interactions inform us how people use our platform and what they want to accomplish. We use what we learn from the passengers, their preferences about food, and we learn about the sort of different menu items, how people like the menu items of the restaurants, to serve good recommendations so that our customers can get access to food that they like. Right. So the third point I'm making here is, all of these gigabytes, terabytes, and petabytes of data. It's something unique to Grab in the area. It's we're talking 3 billion rides. We're talking millions of drivers, tens of millions of passengers, and this has to be applied at scale. And particularly the graph algorithms with that distributions become fairly complex, and you use fairly sophisticated algorithms to weed out fraud. All right, and fourth example is traffic management. So this is a heat map of Singapore, and we're trying to predict the traffic in the future. And so we use that to route drivers to our passengers to navigate so that you get to your destination quickly. And as well, we want to provide estimated time to arrival that are reliable. Everyone who has tried to order food knows how important it is to get an accurate and reliable time of arrival. And this is crucially important to us, and this is why we have a challenge around that. And Jeff is going to talk to you about that challenge later. All right. So again, we use people come together on our platform to do something in the physical world, and through that they generate a lot of interactions. We use these interactions to create a virtuous cycle, so that we can help them better at the next iteration. And there are many places where we apply these technologies. And when we're ready, we start.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Big hand for Patrick. All right, so basically we've understood in terms of, Patrick has described in terms of how AI can be related into different areas of our app, from food, from transportation, from rerouting traffic jams from Sudirman all the way back to Shangri-La, for example, and also in terms of the security and safety side. So our next guest speaker we'd like to bring up is Pak Gunawan Susanto, who is one of our partners and highly supports towards our event here, and he's here to describe more on how Amazon Web Services will be playing its role here to provide the best mentorship for our participants. So Pak Gunawan, you may have the stage. Big hand for Pak Gunawan, everyone.
So, selamat sore rekan-rekan semuanya, and thank you for inviting us, Patrick, Jeffrey, and Nikhil. Thank you so much for giving us a chance. Definitely, from AWS, Grab is a very important and strategic customer and partner for us, and supporting, Grab for this event is really, really important for AWS, right? Not only just looking at Grab for our strategic partner and customers, but really on how we are seeing this is an opportunity for us working together with Grab to actually, carrying the missions for the better of Indonesians, right? Like Mbak Nenek just mentioned earlier. And the reason why we're saying that is we want to really give a support for Indonesia, because I'm also seeing that is where our investment in the country is not only just about how can we bring the business, but how can we actually make an impact. And one of the impact from AWS point of view is how can we actually bring this technology and the capability and the knowledge to everyone, including all of you here in this room, right? So the missions from AWS is really on how can we want to bring the machine learning into the hands of every developers, right? What does it mean? AI, machine learning, or deep learning, all of these, sort of really techy and but seems like it's very difficult. But of course, maybe for some of you here, it's not that difficult. But for me, it is difficult to understand. But it is really something that we want to share. That it's not only just about the technology, but it is how can actually we make an impact to the real business and solving a real business problems. I have a video, but I think because of the time that I would just skip the video, but I would just talk about it, about this, how AI and machine learning in the real actions, right? In this video is talking about how can AI or machine learning can be used for problems that we solve for Amazon.com through robots, combinations of a lot of technologies to make it, how can we actually deliver millions of goods into the hands of our customers, right? Fast and with the real good quality. But not only just in the fulfillment center. Think about it. What we are using is that how we use the video recognitions. Sorry if I use bahasa to make it much clearer. Jadi ada dengan pakai video recognitions untuk bisa ngelihat Amazon untuk Amazon Fresh. Jadi untuk buah yang mau dikirim, sebelum dikirim supaya bisa lihat kualitinya yang bagus, itu dilihat lewat video. Jadi dilihat buahnya seperti apa, mana yang jelek bisa langsung dibuang. Tujuannya apa? Nggak menggantikan orangnya. Orangnya tetap ada untuk melakukan QC. Tapi yang dilakukan apa? Dan orangnya instead of ngeliatin satu-satu, dengan video bisa disortir. Yang dilihat itu cuman kemudian mesinnya nggak yakin, videonya nggak yakin, ini fresh atau nggak fresh. Jadi people will just take, or the person will do just increasing their productivity by just looking at that, or those highlighted by the machines or the video. So the idea here is that the flavor for the machine learning itself is really depends on each every developers, right? Some of you that is really techy, you may want to built from the frameworks itself. You may want to use a lot of other frameworks like a lot of common ones like TensorFlow, MXNet, PyTorch. So those are the common frameworks that we are enabling the systems or the services for you to use. But also there is for some of a lot of other developers, we are making it much more easier with the Amazon SageMaker, right? It's easy for you to deploy, training, and test, and so on and so forth. Plus, some of the capabilities on the AI itself, like I said, in the recognitions through recognitions image or video, but also a lot of other things like text to speech, speech to text, and comprehend, reading the documents, reading the text, and so on and so forth. So these are the areas that you may want to use, and in the combinations to build up something. It's like a building blocks. Depends on how do you want to do it and leverage it to make a real business solutions. Not only just about the previous one, but it's also a lot of other components related to it. I don't want to go through this in details, but maybe just a quick examples, right? This is in the use case for a safety. So using the video and the TensorFlow, the frameworks here, combining with AWS recognitions to understand if the person is using helmet or not using helmet. In this frame, then if the person there is misalignment, not using the helmet on the head, then they will send an alert through a voice image. So this is part of the one of the examples. You may want to use it and leverage for how you develop it for Grab. I think it is very interesting, and this is not only in this example is Kumho Petrochemical, but to give you example of local Indonesian use cases, one of our local business partners is actually using a combination of this technology to count on how many crops in one of the trees, palm trees. What the service is used for is for the palm oil plantations to estimate on how much is they're producing, right? Think about those along the line, how this technology can actually help to save and achieve Grab's focus on the safety, and how can we actually improving the quality of transportations, right, for Indonesia. And last but not least, for those of you that really wants to build and serious in terms of building the capabilities, as part of the partners for Grab, AWS is really excited to give you a lot of support. If you give the emails through Grab, we are working on it to help to give you some of the credits, but also training programs. In addition to that, if you have any questions about how to use those technologies, the services from AWS, you may want to go for the AWS.ai. So you can reach out to you can go to the website, and a lot of documentations around what you can do and how you develop it for Grab. So thank you so much, and I will pass it back to.
Thank you so much, Dr. Okay, so next up I'll save time, also bring up Jeffrey. Basically, what he'll here to discuss more in terms of the stages throughout all this whole competition towards the AI side. Okay, go ahead, Jeffrey. Big hands for Jeffrey, please.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go over some of the questions and challenges that we picked for this problem. I think we picked a good range of problems, 3 problems, where I think it sort of signifies some of the hardest problems that we have at Grab and some very important ones. First one is traffic management. I think everybody knows. I sat through hours of traffic here today in Jakarta, and being able to understand how traffic moves and so on throughout the city, I think would be a great help for a lot of people. Grab also, we sit on a lot of images. Like we have tons of image data sets. So computer vision is very important to us. So we threw in a computer vision problem as well, and safety. Safety was one of the reasons why one of our co-founders founded Grab, and so we're throwing in a safety problem as well. So if you can see, these are all just very important problems for Grab, and we're looking to see how people, look at our data sets and help solve some of our biggest issues. So, yeah. So I think first one is just traffic. I think if we can solve traffic, it would be a big boon for people's productivity. If you're not sitting in traffic for a long time, you can do a lot more stuff. And I think it's a big lever for economic growth and livability for people in cities. So the first thing though to solve traffic is we need to be able to accurately predict where people are taking rides from. So for this data set, we have anonymized data set of our actual demands. So it's an aggregated demand for Grab over, I think it's a 2-week period of time, where we where we show you what our demands are in different geohashes. So I think the next one, like I said, computer vision is extremely important to us. We have many data sets. Fortunately, showing you our computer vision data set, I think there's privacy issues. So what we did instead is we, for this problem, we're showing there's a Stanford data set for cars, and in this data set you'll be predicting car model, car make, color, and so it would good to see how people use computer vision to solve a real problem, and we could use this data set, use these algorithms to help, solve some of our issues where, for driver onboarding, where we can automatically figure out, what cars people are driving and so on. So that's our computer vision problem, and last one is our safety problem. So this is also a real data set from Grab, which we've anonymized. So what we've anonymized is we collect data from the driver phone, where we collect accelerometer readings, magnetometer readings, bearings, speed, and so on from the drivers. And we have a label set of what trips passengers found that the driver was driving unsafe. So this is a very massive data set. It's about for every second of a booking trip, we get an telematics reading from the phone. So hopefully using this, we'll be able to tell what drivers are driving unsafely, and we can give them feedback on how to drive safer and how to give passengers a safer ride. So what we're evaluating the data on is you'll be required to submit your source code. So we'll be looking at code quality, is your data, is your code commented well? How's it structured? How's it programmed? Also, because we also want to evaluate how your problem solving skills. So are you presenting your findings in a way that people understand? Thanks. And I guess this is a machine learning problem. So how are you feature engineering? How are you cleaning your data? And finally, we for evaluation, we're holding out a data set that we're not releasing yet, and we'll be evaluating your models on a holdout data set that we have that will run once you submit your code. And so we are giving prizes for this. So it's 20,000 Singapore dollars. So first place is 10,000, second place is 5, third place is 3,000, and then we'll be giving out for 2 $1,000 prizes for people who also do well. Yeah, and finally, we hope that we can look for you to help us solve some of these problems. So we're also looking to hire at least 50 people who participate in this competition throughout Southeast Asia. So we're looking for people, from data scientists, data analysts, product analysts, data engineers, machine learning engineers, and we have many, many interesting and real problems to solve with Grab.
All right, thank you so much, Jeffrey. Thank you, Jeffrey, for telling us in terms of what are the criteria of passing this challenge and in various areas. So before we continue on, for those of you who are interested to join this AI competition event, we advise you to please fill in the registration form that you can get from the front in terms of your name, your email, your interest towards this that you want to participate, and then you can pass it to my team at the back, to our team at the back there, to get your swags or giveaways and goodie bags. Okay. So next up is I'd like to invite also from Padang & Co, the CEO, Derek Chang, who will describe more in terms of the challenge process towards this actual AI event. So Derek, please come on board. Big hand for Derek, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Just a quick one. Actually, you all have this form. You all have it on your way in. So register your interest to participate in the challenge. You fill out this form before you leave, and we'll give you a swag. Well, thank you very much for Brad for this opportunity. My name is Derek, and me and my team, we've been working with Grab to actually design this competition and this process, and we're managing this as well. So all of you would have received some emails from us, and please continue to look out for those emails. Now, before I begin, the one question I always get when I'm in Indonesia is whether we're from Padang. No, we're not. We're actually from Singapore. There is actually a Padang in Singapore. It's a big open field where people come and gather and come and play. And I think that's the spirit that we want to bring to you. And thank you very much for joining us for today. Now, very quickly, just moving on. These are the key dates. They are also in your hands right now. They're also on the website. Just want to highlight a few things. The first thing you have to remember is that you've got about 3 weeks to make your submission. In fact, it's exactly 3 weeks. To the 17th of June, that's a Monday, 5 p.m. Jakarta time. Make that mental note. And then after that, we will do a shortlisting with the Grab team. Jeffrey just now went through the evaluation criteria. That criteria is actually available on the website, so have a look at that on the website. And if you are amongst the top participants across Southeast Asia for this particular competition, you will be flown to Singapore for a demo day the week of 2nd July. So only those who are shortlisted at that point will get an invitation, and Grab will fly you there. So it's on their expense or not yours. So I've sort of mentioned the submission. So once again, check out the challenges on the website, AI for Southeast Asia, AI for S.E.A.com. The challenges are there, the evaluation criteria is there, some key dates are there, some reminders. But as I mentioned, we will be sending some reminders to you, so please continue to look out for emails from us, from the Padang Co team. When you register for this particular competition, you will receive an email with a private submission link. So make sure that you actually do have that particular link when you submit your application through the website. For every person, you should select only one challenge. So one challenge per applicant, just to stress that. So one person, one identity, one challenge. And then once you make your submission, you completed the submission, you will receive an email confirmation. So, once again, the website AI or SEA.com. There's a lot of information there. And once again, the deadline is 3 weeks from now, Monday, 17th June, 5 p.m. Jakarta time. We strongly recommend that you make the you go in there and start your application as soon as you can, because I think the challenges are not meant to be super easy, so you do need a few days to think about it and actually do your research, have a think about it and work through your application. So the sooner you start, the better. So don't wait till the last minute. So I think that's it for me. I'm sure you have some questions about those challenges and perhaps some more questions for the Grab team. So I think next is with Q&A, the panel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Derek. Big hand for Derek, please. Let's bring up to the front Nikhil, Patrick, and Jeffrey for any Q&A sessions about the activity. Kita buka sesi pertanyaan untuk sesi tersebut untuk AI Roadshow-nya ya. So mungkin ada yang mau tanya langsung. Yang pertama, oke, silakan. Nama dan
bahasa or
English.
Hi, Grab team. Okay, let me get straight to the question.
Sorry, your name?
I'm sorry, my name is Aris Fernando. Aris. Okay, the main question is how do you rank the model? Because you do not specify like the model size or the interpretability, or I don't know, you just mentioned the area under the group. The first is that, the second is why this submission does not follow like the, you are not the first, you are not the first hosting event like this, right? So I mean, why you guys decided not to use Kaggle or something like that for the easier submission or forum or something like that? Because on the Kaggle there are some forum to discussion among the participants, right? Because especially the submission is specified into individual progression or scoring, right? Something like that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'll talk about the scoring. So I think the primary metric we'll look at is the the area in the curve, or the metric that the competition says that they'll use. I think for the other the demand prediction, I think uses root mean square error. The other one for that one. So I think that would be the primary one. But we will look at your source code, which is why we're asking for people to submit their code. So like model complexity, how big your model is, we will take that into account.
Okay, so the model set, how do you assess the model set? Because you need to run the code, right? And
yeah, let's say if I abuse some kind of ensemble, then how do you assess that this model is better than this one or this one?
So we'll be assessing it on the holdout data set. So we'll be running your model on the holdout data set.
Okay. So you mentioned a few of parameters. So what is the weight of? Let's say you have some criteria, right? The first one is code, the second one is this, the third one is this. So how you weight this? The proposition of the value proposition of your criteria, right? So if you explain that, it can be what I mean is, because there is only description, right? I just read some description. I do not know what are you trying to achieve, right? Because in Kaggle we are achieving even 0.1% is a lot of difference, right? So is that what you want? I think not, because in industry it depends on not only of the overall model performance, right? Yeah, we want to know how you assess the model, right? Because if you do not explain that, it is just the same with the Kaggle, right? We just use a lot of method to gain the 0.1, 0.2% something like that. Yeah, we don't know because we don't know because you don't give us the like some experience board something like that. Yeah, because we just tell us the common access to like under it's just too common, right?
So I think one of the evaluation metrics is the holdout metrics and so on. But I think we also want to allow people to have creativity. So we'll have some subjective element to how we're grading this. So we're looking at this all manually. Like once at the shortlisted people, we'll have a panel of judges, just go through every single submission to make sure that we are, looking for, the best submission possible. There is some subjective element to it, yes, but that's also why we're not using the the way Tackle does it, where it's just purely on this holdout metric.
Okay. Okay, maybe, thank you so much. Check. Thank you so much. Perhaps on this side, is there a question on this side, perhaps? Question? Okay, one more from here. Check.
Okay, go ahead. Hello, my name is Prima. I just want to ask a brief question. From the challenge, you propose us to submit the code in a Python language. If we try to submit the code in a different language, like maybe R, do we have like a fair scoring, like similar scoring, like if we do the challenge in Python, or there's something else?
So you can submit your code in any language. It could be R, it could be Java, it could be anything else, including Python. There will be no difference in how we evaluate based on the language that you're submitting the code in.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Another question? Yep, go ahead.
My name is James Philip Fernanda from the research.id. We have the big data research. So I would like ask to you if I have a team for the autonomous for the system. We have the project for the LRT in Indonesia, and we can collaborate with the Grab. I think Grab they have project for the autonomous car in Singapore. I have see. So how what happen, what your project for the autonomous? Like now we have collaboration with the BID in China for the development autonomous. So we have the application autonomous in LRT right now, Jakarta. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That question's of top text, but if you have any insight about it, it's
Unfortunately, that's outside the area of our expertise at this point.
all right, no worries. Thank you so much, Nikhil. Any more questions about the competition? All right, go ahead.
Hello, I'm Tony. Just to make it clear, I want to ask something that how many submissions that we have to submit? I mean, can we submit like one or two times? Because first time we see that our model correlation is reached 10%, and then we improve, and we want to resubmit again. Is it possible? Is it still within the rules? And then second one is will you guys expose the result or the ranks of the participants, how many participants have already participate in here, like that, and like to see like where are we on the rank of the participants. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think you can submit up till the deadline. I guess whenever that deadline is, we'll just take that submission that you have there. And but I guess when you submit, you don't get result like in Kaggle where they give you this test set valuation. So there actually will be any reason for you to submit multiple times.
I think we need to stress the creativity part.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Solution, you're not someone.
Yeah, so I think I guess we're interested in your overall solution. So like if you're just keep on improving it to you're comfortable where we want us to evaluate. And unfortunately we won't be exposing everybody's scores. I think you'll only know if you get shortlisted. Is that correct?
And I think I'll encourage you guys to use the whole window. Like you have time till the 17th of June to submit. So use that time to internally improve, optimize your models before you submit is, I guess, one way to go about this.
Okay, thank you so much. Any more questions? I'll take two more about the competition. Okay, we're gonna do maybe one more question. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. That's a wrap. Okay.
One last point to his question. I think one point I want to underscore is that given how these problems are, given the data sets, there is an element here that it's important for that certain people understand the nuances of these problems firsthand, understand the nuances of these markets, which is all of us, right? The people who live and work here, and that's one reason we chose to go this route. Like Kaggle wouldn't allow us to do this very interaction we're having today, right? So that's one reason the format of this challenge is this way.
All right, just in conclusion, so everyone, basically on this, make sure that you have a lot of time. Understand that you have a lot of time until 17th of June. We indulge everyone here to be as creative as you can to see based on the problems that we have in terms of solving on an AI perspective. So creativity and intellectual rigor from your end, try before submission, try it, test it out, try it again, test it out, see if it works, see if it makes sense for you, see if it really does give impact towards society, especially in Indonesia. I'd like to thank our Q&A panel. Thank you so much, Nikhil, Patrick, and Jeffrey. Big hand, everyone, please. I'd also like to thank Mbak Neneng, Mbak Gunawan also for being here as well, for Derek. At the same time, that's it from us. We hope that we hope that this event can attract a lot of you and your friends to sign up. Remember to please sign up towards the forms that we've given you in the front, and the ones at the forms you can have your swags at the back, where you can just hand in the forms as well. And any further questions, feel free related to the competition, feel free to let us know. And we thank you, everyone. And anything you'd like to say? All right. Thank you so much. Have a good evening and good night, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.